Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Columbus. I am Brandy Brewer, your volunteer service leader. We're an inclusive community of people who support each other in our own unique, personal, responsible searches for truth and meaning. Our speaker today is John Mallory Land, gifting us with a service titled, "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to UU." More on John later in the service. Some of us regard this as a religious community. Some say it's a spiritual community. Others, it's an ethical community. For many of us, it's people that we love. We support each other in our own unique searches for truth and meaning. We also take action together to make and strengthen our fellowship and to make our community and the world a better place. We will move on to our offering. Our offering, big or small, strengthens our fellowship, whether they are offerings of money or time, talents and energy. They are given and received in the spirit of grateful fellowship. Thank you, Whittaker. John Mallory Land is a longtime member of our fellowship. He has earned degrees in theater. He now works at the River Center. Way back in 2015, prior to the pandemic, he staged a Horton Foote's play, 1918, on the 1918 flu pandemic. He promises that this will be funnier than the 1918 flu pandemic. Please let us welcome John to speak.
Thanks a lot, Brandy. I appreciate that. And we hope it'll be better than the 1918 pandemic. No guarantees, I'm sorry. Just excuse me one moment. Oh, I forgot to ask it. Have y'all ever heard of the crowd that was waiting for the other shoe to drop? That was that whole joke. That was the whole thing. So some of you may know I'm from Texas. I had a coworker pre-pandemic who also knew I was from Texas and was trying to think, what could I get John for Christmas? We all got everybody in our department presents, and guess what I got? So just to show you, this is not the only picture of me that is funny. So yes, a funny thing happened on the way to UU. It was a roundabout journey. I'm going to take this off so I can breathe. Breathe and be free. I had been planning, as some of you know, for a long time to do a joke service. We used to do this periodically, and I don't think we've done it in quite a while. At least if there's been one in recent times, I probably missed it. But we'll just do a service that was principally on jokes and humor to inject some levity into our lives. And I've been thinking for a good while, we could all use a good laugh. The way things have been going the last few years, we could use an uninterrupted series of laughs if we could get them. And I had done some research and thinking, because I do want to talk about the role that humor plays in our lives, socially, interpersonally, the role that comedy plays, and both in a good way, and it can be in a negative way too. But the functions that humor can perform for us, and of course humor is universal, although what's funny is often contextual. But I decided for today I would like for us to just try to be funny and mirthful. So I brought some jokes, and I hope that some of you are better at remembering jokes than I am, because I'm terrible at it. I was just talking, I think it was Brenda, who said, well, I can usually remember the punchline, but it's getting to the punchline that's the challenge. And I'm the same way. I've never been really good at retaining jokes. And then on top of that, for our purposes, I'd like to keep us PG, and it's problematic because it seems like a number of jokes I remember would be completely inappropriate. Besides the fact that a lot of jokes that we've heard over the course of our lives are inappropriate for other reasons, because they're either derogatory toward people or in some other way just not edifying. And so, looking back in retrospect, from particularly a UU perspective, I think, well, there's some things that, that are better left in the past and not included. But as we've all heard, laughter is the best medicine. So get ready to groan. There are a lot of classics that we've heard, and when is a door not a door? When it's ajar. But they still elicit a giggle or a smile. How do you top a car? Tap on the brake. A wise man once said, "Ouch! I stubbed my toe." You can't tell me that some wise man somewhere hasn't stubbed his toe at some point in time. Did you hear about the guy who fell off the comedy wagon? He tried to land on his funny bone, but he broke his humerus. Why don't cannibals eat clowns? Because they taste funny. If the parsley farmer doesn't pay his alimony, can they garnish his wages? Some of y'all may remember in the older vehicles, and this goes way back because I heard this joke probably in college, but the button to engage the high beams was on the floorboard at one time. You've probably seen that in some of the older vehicles. And, that changed over time, but the car companies decided they would have to go back to the button on the floorboard because too many Aggies were getting their feet caught in the steering wheel. And you might say, what is an Aggie? Well, I'm from Texas. The butt of our jokes are Texas A&M Aggies. And no disrespect to Aggies, but it was always everything. Why did the Aggie cross the road? He was stapled to the chicken. And I think every geographic region and group has that other group. But when I moved to Georgia, a lot of the jokes are about Alabama, of course. Oh, where are you going for vacation this summer? Oh, I'm going to L.A. Oh, you're going to L.A.? Yeah, Lower Alabama. But again, I was born in Alabama, so I think I'm entitled there. If two's company and three's a crowd, what's 4 and 5? Well, 9, naturally. When we came back from vacation, our neighbor asked us, well, how did you find the weather? And we had to explain to her, well, we just went outside and there it was. How many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but the light bulb has to really want to change. There was a little length of rope. It was just a a little squirt, but he decided he was ready to rub elbows with the big boys. So he went into the bar, jumped up on the bar stool, and he told the bartender, "Give me a whiskey." And the bartender just looked at this little piece of rope. He said, "You're not supposed to be in here. You're not nearly ready to come into a bar and have a drink. Get out of here. Get out of my face." So very dejected, the rope went out of the bar and was very despondent. And then he got an idea, and he went around the corner into the alley. And he looked like he was having a fit. He was just twisting himself and turning, tying himself in on himself and getting his ends all frazzled. And he just looked a mess. But then he said, "Well, I'm going to go back in that bar, and it's going to go differently this time." So he goes back in the bar. He marches up very proudly, gets up on that bar stool, and he says, "Give me a whiskey." And the bartender just looks at him, and he says, "Aren't you that little rope that was just in here a minute ago?" And he says, "No, I'm afraid not." Oh, it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts. I've stolen some of these from some committee, and some of y'all might recognize these. I think this one's from, I'll think of it, the Swiss Army. Never been involved in a war in 200 years. It's a lucky thing. Did you ever see the little Swiss Army knife? Corkscrews, bottle opener, nail file. You don't want to go to war with a little thing like that. What's the secret to a great joke? Timing. I've got a good knock-knock joke. Joyce, you go first. Who's there? If Mississippi gave Missouri, who New Jersey, what would Delaware? Idaho, but Alaska. Well, there's the famous one. Guy gets in a cab in New York City, and he says, "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?" And the cabbie says, "Practice, practice, practice." I never really got along with my dad. Kids used to come up to me and say, "My dad can beat up your dad." And I'd say, "Yeah, when?" I know a lot about cars. I can look at any car's headlights and tell you exactly which direction it's headed. I hate housework. You make the beds, you do the dishes, and 6 months later you have to start all over again. That's a Joan Rivers right there. I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for people who like country music, denigrate means put down. That's a Bob Newhart. You can just hear Bob Newhart saying that. Why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because every play has a cast. What did the traffic light say to the car? "Stop looking, I'm changing." Why couldn't the pony sing a lullaby? She was a little hoarse. Why did the kid throw his clock out the window? Because he wanted to see time fly, unlike right now. What do you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick. Why did the gym close down? Well, it just didn't work out. What's red and bad for your teeth? A brick. I think Amanda might appreciate this one. What's a Karen called in Europe? An American. What did the ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing. They just waved. Why was 2019 afraid of 2020? Because they had a fight in 2021. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. A woman was in labor, and she suddenly started shouting, "Don't, can't, didn't, shouldn't." And the doctor said, "Oh, don't worry, those are just contractions." What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Have you ever tried to eat a clock? It's very time consuming. What did the fisherman say to the magician? Pick a cod, any cod. What farm animal keeps the best time? A watchdog, of course. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Boy, these are great, aren't they? I'll be playing all week. How did the barber win the race? He knew a shortcut. How do farmers do long division? With a calculator. Cosmetic surgery used to be such a taboo subject. Now you can talk about Botox and nobody raises an eyebrow. I saw this guy attempting to tow a cheetah. It was obvious he was trying to pull a fast one. What kind of music do balloons hate? Pop. Why was a tomato red? Because he saw the salad dressing. Why did the picture go to jail? Because she was framed. If your house is cold, go stand in a corner. It's always 90 degrees there. And this is from our own Hal Majette. If things don't go right, go left. The other day I bought a dictionary, and when I got home I opened it, and all the pages were blank. I have no words to describe how angry I am. My grandpa warned people that the Titanic would sink. No one listened, but he kept warning them until they got sick of him and kicked him out of the cinema. Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that. That actually happened to me at the doctor. I stayed at a hotel that was hosting a chess tournament, and some of the players were hanging out in the lobby, bragging to each other about how good they were. It was chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. Some friends and I started a band called 999 Megabits, but we still haven't gotten a gig. Computer gigs out there. To the person who stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word. Imagine if Americans switched from pounds to kilograms overnight. There would be mass confusion. A man was washing the car with his son. The son asked, "Dad, can't you just use a sponge?" How do parents lose their kids in the mall? I mean, seriously, any tips are welcome. Why can't T-Rexes clap their hands? Because they're extinct. They say the first two things to go are the memory and, well, I forget what the other one is. What has 4 letters, sometimes has 9 letters, but never 5? That's actually a statement, not a question. What has 4 letters, sometimes has 9 letters, and what's the best way to have a party on Venus? Just plan it. But not on Pluto. Today at the bank, a man asked me to help check his balance, so I pushed him over. Why do melons always have formal wedding ceremonies? Because they cantaloupe. A ham sandwich walks into a bar and orders a beer. The bartender says, "We don't serve food here." 2 men walk into a bar. One man says, "I'll have some H2O. The other man says, "Well, I'd like some H2O too." The second man died. Oops. What's worse than raining cats and dogs? Hailing taxi cabs. What do you call a grizzly with no teeth? A gummy bear. When potatoes have offspring, what are they called? Tater tots. Did you hear about the kidnapping at the school? It's fine, he woke up. What's the name of your new dog? Well, I don't know, he won't tell me. I had an argument with the 90-degree angle. Turns out she was right. Why do fish live in salt water? Because pepper makes them sneeze. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot. Why do golfers wear 2 pairs of socks? In case they get a hole in one. Ran out of toilet paper and now using lettuce leaves. Today was just the tip of the iceberg. Tomorrow remains to be seen. Elton John brought his pet rabbit to the gym. It's a little fit bunny. Did you know that you can get lawyers at IKEA now? Oh, really? Yeah, they're very affordable, but you have to build your own case. Pumpkins are drained of their spice for your precious lattes. Educate yourself. The travesty. The instructor says, welcome to salsa class. Who's ready to learn how to dance? Me hiding tortilla chips bag. There's been a misunderstanding. Noah's Captain's Log, day 39. Roasted unicorn is delicious. That's one of my favorites. Ever wondered why there aren't any unicorns? Now we know. Always make sure someone in the relationship has good credit. That's why it's called a sign if I can't other. Sign if I can't. Follow me for more marriage tips. Soup of the day, whiskey with H2O croutons. Sounds good to me. This is why folks who have dogs who sleep in the house at night should be careful what you say on the phone. If you break a treat in half, they think it's 2 treats. And later that night. All right. This next one is apropos since tomorrow is Valentine's. It's Valentine's Day plan. Breakfast in bed, chocolates, watch movie, dinner for 2. Regret eating dinner for 2, cries alone, and check out her little dog. Poor guy. Okay, so this is business. I said refuse to be stored in plastic sacks and placed in containers provided, but this guy had a kind of a different reading. Refuse to be stored in black plastic sacks and placed in the containers provided. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the night. A little dramatic. My housekeeping style is best described as, there appears to have been a struggle. Here's a little stagehand humor for y'all. This is a rare photo of a mother of vice grip feeding her baby wrenches. Isn't nature amazing? This next one is the realtor I want. Maybe, Amanda, maybe you should try to get this person. Look at this great sales point. Quiet neighbors across the street. You'll never be disturbed by those folks. Well, at least we hope not. You know, if you are, run. This next one, okay, the legs on the bus go step, step, step. I saw this and I was like, what? What on earth? Okay. Somebody had something interesting for breakfast. The sheep, the snake, and the drum fall off a cliff. Ba-dum. Okay. So the devil says, and this is the lake of lava that you'll be spending eternity in. And I say, actually, we're underground, so that would be magma. And the devil says, this is why you're here, you realize. If any of you are considering a career change or need a little sideline, you know, I turned my passion into my dream job, and now I sell small hats to iguanas on Instagram. So opportunities everywhere. This was funny. That feeling you get out for a quiet meal and some fellow at the next table starts painting you. Look at the guy on that guy's face. Preserved for eternity. My wife said I need to grow up. I was speechless. It's hard to say anything when you have 45 gummy bears in your mouth. The accountant tells the couple, you're basically broke. The wife says, he keeps spending money on stupid stuff. I'm like, let's ask the dog if he thinks his jeans are stupid. Enjoying some cheesecake. Son says, "Can I have some?" I was like, "Oh, it's really spicy. You wouldn't like it." Okay, so for you grammarians, a colon can completely change the meaning of a sentence. For example, Jane ate her friend's sandwich. Jane ate her friend's colon. See how that changed? Very clever. One business says, if our food, drinks, or service is not up to your expectations, please lower your expectations. Thank you. And this Comfort Inn, now pet friendly, except for bears. We're not making that mistake again. You really have to wonder. Okay, so these two soldiers, you failed your drug test. I had a poppy seed bagel. Explain the weed and cocaine. It was an everything bagel? I don't know where you can get one of those. Okay, now for a little Shakespearean interlude. The hokey pokey. Oh, proud left foot that ventures quick within, then soon upon a backward journey lieth. Anon once more the gesture, then begin, commands and stroll, pedestal to writhe. Commence thou then the fervid hokey poke, a mad gyration, hips in wanton swirl, to spin a wild release from heaven's yoke. Blessed dervish, surely canst go, girl. The hoke, the poke, banish now thy doubt. Verily I say, 'tis what it is all about. That's a little known sonnet by Shakespeare, recently rediscovered. There's Madagascar, Gladagaskar, Sadagaskar, Outagaskar. We've all been there. Okay, so if some of you folks have a long way to travel from your upstairs bedrooms to maybe down in your kitchen and your other living areas, if you need an opportunity, for a break, this adds a whole new dimension to she's climbing the stairway to heaven. Got a chance for a pit stop there. I thought this was fun. When your replacement head finally arrives in the mail. It took so long, finally. Okay, so evidently this motel has no pets, no cooking, no bicycles. So somebody's got a pet cooking a bicycle. I'll do what I want, Karen. I love the expression on that dog's face. It reminds me of my dog. Meteorologists have weighed rainbows and found out they're pretty light. News you can use. Okay, so I'm sure at least some of you have heard me say before, probably all of you, that dogs have owners and cats have staff. This is a perfect example. This pet owner is having problems out there, and the dog thinks, oh no, he's in trouble. And the cat is like, oh no, I don't know how to operate the can opener. Little difference in perspective there. This lady's like, my child will not eat fish. What can I replace it with? And the doctor says, a cat. Cats love fish. Okay, now, I kid you not, I verified, this is an actual headstone that says Arthur spanks his wife, Catherine. And you have to wonder who thought that up? Did they know? Inadvertent? Who knows? Okay, another poetry corner here. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently trotting across my chamber floor. Thou hast eaten, I muttered. I shall not feed you any more. Quoth the kitten, feed me more. Scary. I don't know how many of y'all have a haiku baroo with 5 seats in the front, 7 seats in the middle, and 5 in the back. But it is poetry in motion. Okay, so now we're going to be in Grammarian's Corner. An Oxford comma walks into a bar where it spends the evening watching television, getting drunk, comma, and smoking cigars. A dangling participle walks into a bar. Enjoying a cocktail and chatting with the bartender, the evening passes pleasantly. A bar was walked into by the passive voice. An oxymoron walked into a bar, and the silence was deafening. Two quotation marks walk into a bar. A malapropism walks into a bar, looking for all intensive purposes like a wolf in cheap clothing, muttering epitaphs and casting dispersions on his magnificent other, who takes him for granite. Hyperbole totally rips into this intense, insane bar and absolutely destroys everything. Very American. A question mark walks into a bar. A non sequitur walks into a bar. In a strong wind, even turkeys can fly. Papyrus and Comic Sans walk into a bar. The bartender says, "Get out, we don't serve your type." A mixed metaphor walks into a bar, seeing the handwriting on the wall, but hoping to nip it in the bud. A comma splice walks into a bar, it has a drink, and then leaves. Three intransitive verbs walk into a bar. They sit, they converse, they depart. A synonym strolls into a tavern. At the end of the day, a cliche walks into a bar, fresh as a daisy, cute as a button, and sharp as a tack. A run-on sentence walks into a bar. It starts flirting with the cute little sentence fragment. Falling slowly, softly falling, a chiasmus collapses to the bar floor. Chiasmus, look it up, I had to. It's a poetic device where you repeat something in reverse order to give it emphasis and interest. Yeah, okay. A figure of speech literally walks into a bar and ends up getting figuratively hammered. An illusion walks into a bar, despite the fact that alcohol is its Achilles heel. A misplaced modifier walks into a bar owned by a man with a glass eye named Ralph. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense. A dyslexic walks into a bra. A verb walks into a bar, sees a beautiful noun, and suggests they conjugate. The noun declines. A simile walks into a bar, as parched as a desert. A gerund and an infinitive walk into a bar, drinking to forget. Yeah, that's how it goes. The world champion tongue twister got arrested. I hear they're going to give him a tough sentence. A Spanish magician tells the audience he will disappear on the count of 3. He says, "Uno, dos." Poof, he disappears without a trace. Well, thank you very, very much for letting me attempt to entertain, and we'll have to do it again. I appreciate it.